and Chris Young joins us now here on The Fan. And a good afternoon. It's great to see you again.
Hey, guys. Good seeing you all. Thanks for being out the ballpark tonight.
Well, it's great to be here, Rangers and Cardinals. How do you guys tackle the day off with everything going on? Was it busy for you?
Well, it was. I mean, a lot of conversations for me internally with our front office, our executive team, just continue to examine ways that we can kind of get this thing going, to get on track here, really get the offense going and get hot here. So there's still a lot of season left. There's a lot of baseball left, but we're leaving no stone unturned in terms of how we start getting this going because obviously we're not happy with the results thus far. We're not where we need to be from an offensive standpoint. And, I really believe that we've got a lot of good things ahead of us if we can find the answers, but it needs to start now. And so the off day was spent, looking for those answers.
And then Boch said it's going to be 2 days off for Adolis, and he used the term mental day. Is that something fans are going to see more of?
Well, I think, any player who's not performing at a level we need certainly is probably going to lose a little bit of playing time. I mean, that's just part of the nature of the game. It's a performance-based game. I say this all the time. Yeah. And so part of the responsibility a player has is to perform. And so the performance has not been where it needs to be for Adolis recently. And so, I think some of those mental days are going to be needed to get him back and locked into the player that we know he can be. He's a huge part of our team, and Adolis Garcia at his best is a player that should be out on the field every day. And so, given the way we're playing, the lack of run production, we've got to try to mix things up, and that's part of the calculus right now.
Somebody wrote, and I should give him credit, but I forget who it is, that his defensive prowess right now shows that he's still very much a great athlete.
So I think the same is true of Marcus, too. And I get asked a lot about this physical decline correlated with age, and I really am not buying into it with either one, mainly for the reasons you said, is that athletically, they are still doing some of the things that we're accustomed to defensively, and that they're both playing great defense, and that leads me to believe that offensively they should still be able to impact the baseball the way that we have seen traditionally. So there are some mechanical things, some approach-based things with both players that we need to continue to work on, and really it's as much on us as a front office as a coaching staff to present these solutions to the player and then get buy-in from the player. So we are working towards that collectively. Everybody is on board with what we need to do, and now it's about executing.
What a pro. I mentioned it the other day, like he can be 0 for 4, and in the handshake line, he's stoic, he's smiling, and he's shaking hands and high-fiving the guy who had the hit. He's a total 10 out of 10 like that, isn't he?
Look, and that's one of our core values as an organization is be a good teammate, and that means that on a daily basis you're showing up and you're putting the team ahead of yourself. And I am happy that our players are holding themselves to that standard, and they're trying to find the positive even when they're not going well personally. It's a hard thing to do. These guys care immensely. I can see it on their faces. There are days where it just crushes me to see the disappointment on their faces because they feel like they're letting their team down, they're letting our fans down, and it's a group of winners, and these guys are going to figure it out. The care factor is as high as any group I've ever been around, and I believe they're going to find a way to get this done.
How's Evan Carter doing?
Evan's doing great. He's starting a rehab assignment tonight. We'll see him play the next 3 days in Round Rock. And then we'll decide after Sunday kind of where he is, where we are as a team, and whether or not we activate him in Tampa. Some of it's performance-based, some of it's health-related, but Evan's in a really good spot. We miss him. It'll be great to get him back.
And then the pitching, John Gray, Kamar Rocker, it looked like he was freaking phenomenal last night.
Yeah. Kamar had a great game last night. He's kind of passed multiple tests on his rehab assignment right now. We've got a few balls up in the air right now with Nathan Eovaldi and kind of the rotation, the timeline as to when he's going to pitch next. So Kamar having a good game. He threw close to 60 pitches last night, so we're comfortable that he could go at least 60 in a Major League game. We kind of need to see what the needs are, what's best for Kamar as well. Does he need another rehab start and build up to 75 pitches, or can we let him do that in a big league game? But he's close to ready. If he isn't activated this week, it'll be soon thereafter. John Gray's doing great. Cody Bradford's doing great. We're not far away from having some support on the pitching front. That these guys are coming, and our pitching staff's going to get better when we get both those guys back. It's still probably 3+ weeks away for both of them, but that's not that long. And our pitching staff's done such a great job. When we get some extra support, they're going to get even better.
So what's the role look like for Rocker? I think it was Monday you said you're not considering closer. Mm-hmm. If everybody stayed healthy and you have like 8 candidates for 5 spots, what would Rocker's role look like?
Well, one of the things I've learned in this role is you don't count your chickens before they hatch. And every time I've done that and sort of projected out, something's come up to where we maybe didn't have the luxury we were expecting with a surplus of pitchers. So, with John, with Cody, with Kamar, we'll evaluate. We'll see where these guys are. We'll see how Evo comes out of these few extra days off and how he's feeling. Tyler Malley as well. We're going to need to push him back at some point. He's a guy who's reaching workload totals and on pace for workload totals that he hasn't done in several years. Jacob deGrom, same thing. Jack Leiter. We're going to have a need in the rotation throughout different parts of the season for all these guys. So the timing at which they slide into the rotation, and if they're not in the rotation, are they in the bullpen? What's their role in the bullpen? All still to be determined. Some of that just sorts itself out in time, but the next one is likely Kamar in the next, within the next week, and my guess is that we do see him as a starting pitcher. I'll be very clear with that. But I'm not going to say that, we may have to put him in the bullpen for, 2-inning stints here and there if that's the best thing for our team collectively.
CY, when you were putting together this staff, did you even envision it being this great?
Yeah.
I mean, it had to be one of these things where you're just kind of looking at it and you're going, okay, I've got this guy, I got to get him here, I got to get him here. But the way it's fallen, and I hope I don't jinx anything out here, but
please don't.
The way it's fallen for you, though, it's really been masterful the way you put that thing together.
Well, you're giving me a lot of credit, and the honest answer is that I'm not sure what I know about this game, frankly. When we built a team to have an elite offense and we're towards the bottom in every offensive metric, and we thought our pitching staff would be very good, solid, maybe top 10, and we're an elite pitching staff. So it shows you really in some ways how little I know. But I say that given that it's a tough game to figure out. And what I don't bet against are people. And we have great people on this pitching staff. We have leaders. We have winners. And these guys are making the most of their ability. And we have tremendous pitching coaches with Mike Maddox, Dave Bush, and then Jordan Teagues, our bullpen coach. They have done a phenomenal job. Our R&D team, our biomechanics team. I mean, it's a whole team of people that are really functioning well on the pitching side. And I think that's really evident in our player development system as well, where we have a number of our top prospects are pitchers. So I think we're doing some things really, really well on the pitching side. I'm excited about it. But, I can't say I expected this much, but they've been phenomenal, and I'm just so thrilled for all of them.
Yeah, okay, so my favorite time of the year is we're into the regional baseball, college baseball. My LSU Tigers, of course, in this thing. But I want to ask you a question. Did I see a pre-draft workout going on here? And I kind of was a little scared to ask, but I see a little pre-draft workout.
You did. It was no secret. We every year hold a pre-draft workout here at Globe Life Field, and we bring in a number of prospects from across the country, have our scouts in town, put them through a lot of different drills and baseball activities. And for me, it's a great day because I don't get out in the field to see everybody throughout the year. And so we have, 50 players at least coming to our stadium where I got to see them in person, got to meet them, some of their families. We're hosting them tonight for the game. It's really a great day. It's a fun day. It's a long day. It starts early, but it's so worthwhile for the organization. And there have been several players that we've picked over the last few years that have really kind of popped in these pre-draft workouts. And so to have that here today, it's really a testament to our scouting group, the relationships they've forged out in the field with these respective players, and the fact that these players want to come to our stadium to do a workout.
Yeah, it looked very organized out there. It kind of reminded me of working like pre-draft workouts. I'm like, this thing's organized.
It's not only organized; it's on time, and
that's the most important thing.
When you're hosting a home game, there is a time at which you have to be off the field. That the visiting team is going to have the field, and you can't go a minute over. So our group did a great job today. It was very prompt. In fact, I was driving in expecting the thing to start at a certain time period, and they called me and said, we're running 30 minutes early. I said, 30 minutes early? You got to give me a little heads up on that one. So,
I'm sorry, Chief, can you follow up on that? What are you guys looking for
in those workouts?
Yeah, are you looking for players that can help quickly out of college or specific positions or anything?
We're wide open. We're looking for the best players. We're looking for the best players for the long-term health of the Texas Rangers, guys that fit our core values, players that we think are arrow up that are just starting to scratch the surface of their potential, and things that we have identified that we think we can help pitchers with, from our players with. So from a pitching standpoint, there are a number of characteristics that we think we can work with and improve. On the hitting side, same thing. And so we're really just getting our arms around these guys, seeing them in person, do drills kind of the way we want them done, so that we can see, how they move, how they react, and get a feel for the player, and then spend time with the person too, because that's equally important, to learn the person, what motivates them, what do they want to accomplish in their career, and why they would be a fit for the Texas Rangers, and why we think it's a match for us to be able to maximize their full potential.
Speaking of the young stud prospects, how about Sebastian Walcott, what he's been doing? What's the timeline for him in terms of getting to Round Rock?
Yeah, we haven't had those discussions yet. I want to be careful not to rush his development. I mean, I think it's very important that we don't skip steps developmentally. We're seeing Alejandro Osuna here right now. He started in AA. Got off to a little bit of a cold start, then got really hot, and then at that point we promoted him to AAA. And he was only there a week, and it's probably a little faster than I had hoped, but we had a need at the big league level, and he was the best player to help us. He's doing phenomenally well. If he keeps this up, he may never go back. And, but I think it is important for these guys not to skip steps. But Sebastian, he's 19 years old in AA, and he's killing it. He's doing a great job. It's really fun. It's exciting to think about the future there. And, he's going to force our hand at some point, and he's going to end up in Round Rock. But he's, for the time being, we're going to let him stay there and play and continue to just get used to professional baseball at the upper levels. And in time, he's going to, he'll dictate the timeline for us, really.
You've mentioned people a lot during this conversation. How important is that, to have the right amount of people when you're going through something like this, to be able to get through it?
Well, I think the first thing is to say that none of us have the answers. I mean, nobody has this game any more figured out than the next person. And so we operate collectively from a mindset of humility that, we are all working towards solutions, and we're all in it together. And there's nobody that is, perfectly right. There's nobody that's perfectly wrong. But collectively, if we work together, we ask the right questions, we are going to find the right answers. And I spent 2 hours upstairs this afternoon with our executive group and R&D team, our performance science team, really going through every hitter and what we need to do to optimize these guys. It's our responsibility as an organization to help them, especially in these times. And we want to make sure that, like I said, we are leaving no stone unturned in terms of our ability to get the best out of these guys. And I believe we are going to get this thing going, that these guys are so talented. Every executive I talk to across the league who calls me to check in, they start by saying, "Are you hanging in there?" And I'm like, yes, but it's hard. Because they've all been there. They all know the feeling. And then secondly, they say, you guys are too talented not to hit, not to perform. And I say, I hear you, I believe you, but at some point we have to get this going. We have to make this happen. And that's our objective, that's our goal, and we're working hard towards it every day. But I can assure all of our fans that these players care immensely, and they are not proud of the way the season has gone thus far offensively. And when they bust out, my hope is that somebody's going to pay the price for the struggles.
Yeah. Well, we still believe in you, and all of our listeners do. Man, you did a hell of a job, and I know it can be tough as a leadership guy in a spot like this, but thumbs up, dude.
Well, I appreciate the support. I really do. And, like I said, there's a lot of season left. Our fans deserve a winning team, and that's what we're looking to give them. And we're going to keep busting it until we find a way to start stacking up some wins. And when we do, it's going to be a lot of fun around here. So thank you, guys.